Brett Richter here up at the track in Beausejour, Manitoba. We are ready for the 63rd running of the Canadian Power Toboggan Championships. It takes a lot of people, a lot of racers, a lot of volunteers, a lot of activity to make this happen. And the premier sponsor at this year's event is FXR, and we are very happy to have Matt Ham from FXR with us today. Welcome, Matt.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Happy to be here.
Yeah, great. It's a beautiful facility. I mean, it's a premier spot on the tour for the racers, and they love coming here. What's FXR's connection to it? Just love the sport?
You know what? Love the sport. We're local here. We're a Manitoba company, so we're always happy to sponsor and be involved in anything snowmobiling on a local level, and just in general, like FXR racing is in our name. Factory racing, right, is the F and the X and the R, and just supporting racing, and that's what we love to do and love to be involved in.
We comment often that when you walk around the pit area here in the stands, the FXR logo is so predominant. It's so known. I mean, it's on the banners behind us. It's all over the place. It must be just a good marriage for the company.
It's so cool to see, and we always love, especially coming to events like this, because we've been around going on 30 years now. Actually, this coming fall is FXR's 30th year anniversary. But you come to events like this and you see it's like a catalog of the years of the brand when you see the different things that people are wearing, and you see that at snowmobile events everywhere. People have their really old gear and then the new stuff and everything in between. So it's like walking through an archive, at some of these events like this.
That's really interesting. I hadn't thought about it that way, but that's really true. You sure can see a lot of history in there.
Definitely.
Yeah. So FXR provides everything from the toes to the noggin, right?
Yeah, we're head to toe, everything in between. From some of the safest helmets in the world. With our partnership with 6D, we're very, very proud of that. We're the only brand in the world that has a partnership with them, and their helmet technology, which is what we feel the safest helmet in the world for power sports. Snowmobiling and motocross and all that stuff, and everything from that to the gear that the racers are wearing, from the stuff that anyone can buy to some of the custom stuff that you see some of our top guys, whether that's Gunnar or Gavin or whoever else. But we're lucky enough to be able to have some fun and do some of that custom race apparel as well, to supportive boots and the gloves, and everything in between, right? Boots to helmet, like you said.
Yeah, and for these guys, when they're going 100 miles an hour on a sheet of ice and they're looking at hay bales coming out of every corner, something like that helmet's critical really to their peace of mind when they're racing shoulder to shoulder.
It's crazy. Like you think that a helmet has a safety rating and that's that, but that's kind of like the baseline, and not all helmets, not all gear are equal, and every rider needs to make some decisions and do their research about what they feel is the safest. And like with this type of racing and the speeds you get and the potential impact and the protection you want to have, something like this that 6D as a company has done so much above and beyond to go to the specifics of helping different types of crashes, different types of impacts and things, and really protect riders' heads and protect from injury. So it's we're just so happy to have something like this that we can offer the riders.
So many of the general public people, I think, would look at a helmet like that and expect it to weigh 10, 12, 14 pounds. I think it's amazing really how lightweight they are and how they're constructed, what they're made of. Do you know the specifics on that helmet?
Yeah, so this the new ATR3, this is a release that 6D did only in the past few months, an upgrade from their previous ATR2 model. They've shaved, I want to say, around 300 or 400 grams out of the weight of the helmet. They've gone to a carbon fiber shell, which helps make it lighter and also improves the protection aspect as well. So that was one of their big goals. One of the things that as being one of the safest helmets, the way you make it safer is to increase the volume in a lot of ways. If you would just think of the EPS and the foam and all of the protection inside the helmet as suspension travel, the more travel you have, the more you can absorb the bumps, right? And you want to use all of it to protect in an impact. And so they've added some extra volume, and 6Ds have always been a little bit heavier because of that. But they really address that with the new model and going to the carbon fiber chassis.
That's really a nice looking helmet, and I've seen a number of racers that are in those types of helmets, and I always think it's kind of funny because their face looks small because the helmet's gotten big. But exactly to your point, I mean, you need that impact resistance as much as you can get when you go out there.
It's turned into one of those things, where whether it's oval racing or snowcross or in motocross, it's almost one of those things where you wouldn't want to be out there without the best protection, almost in the same way that you wouldn't maybe go to the mountains without wearing an Avi backpack or something, right? Or around here where you're riding on frozen lakes and rivers, we've got our fast technology that helps a rider stay buoyant if they ever break through the ice, and you wouldn't ride in these areas without that. And kind of similar for these types of racing and competition without something that has the highest level of protection.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's just fantastic stuff. And the fact that FXR is leading the industry in a lot of those innovations and then bringing them to the track and allowing our drivers, I mean, people have become personal friends of mine, to be better protected. I've been around the track when things haven't gone so well for some of those people,
Sure.
and it's that safety issue is just really, really important to me. So I appreciate you doing it. Thank you for that.
Yeah,
So-
we're happy and we're proud to be part of it in that way, definitely.
That's great. Tell us a little bit about your personal history with the company.
So, as I mentioned earlier, FXR is going on its 30th anniversary. I've been around for 20 of those years,
Nice.
so I'm one of the, I think I am the oldest standing employee by now that we've had, and I've seen the company grow almost over 100 times itself in
Wow.
that time frame.
Wow.
You know, when I got in, it was still a little bit smaller. You know, if you've heard some of the folklore of FXR and its beginnings, it was sort of started by Milt Reimer, who was the founder, but on his country yard, and that's where the original, the original office location was, first out of the basement and then into an on-site, building. And I was around in those days when it was kind of small enough that you got involved with almost everything because it was a 6 or 10 person operation,
Right,
right?
right.
And to what it's grown into now, global leader in snowmobile apparel and power sports in general, and so much bigger than what it was. You know, you look back on those days and when you could have your fingers in a little bit of everything and involved in everything from the design, development, customer support, warehousing, shipping, warranty, just every aspect of it. And but we've grown so much bigger by now that you're just specialized in all of your departments. But it's been a pretty neat journey to be here and see it grow and evolve over all those years.
Where do you think the company's going? Do you see you expanding into other lines, other product styles, or you're just innovating what you've got, or where do you think things will go?
We're definitely looking at the right ways to expand. When a company grows like we have, and you have the ability to get into other areas because you have the ability to produce all these cool products and things. Sometimes you have to be a little bit careful not to try to do everything all at once.
Right.
But what we know is that our customer, is our power sports customer and our FXR customer, is doing so many different things that are in our wheelhouse, whether that's the motocross line that we've had for a long time, or our fishing line, which is something that's really, really taken off over the past couple of years. We find our customer is, when they put their sled away in the spring, they're pulling out their dirt bike or their quad or their side-by-side, or they're getting out their boat and they're going fishing, right? And that's that same person. And so, the fishing line is something we're really, really excited to be expanding. And the motocross, we're starting to see some real success in sponsoring top riders and teams in AMA Supercross. Mm-hmm. We had our first win a few weeks ago with Jordan Smith on the Factory Triumph, winning a Supercross event.
Fantastic.
Wearing FXR. So it's something that's allowing us to sort of expand our reach outside the snow belt, if you would say, into more southern states in the U.S. and other areas around the world, and just looking at who our customer is and the things that they like to do and what they associate, the FXR brand with,
right.
And how we can kind of expand into that. And we've got our eyes. The sky's the limit, right? But just where we go from there, we dabble in and have a small collection in workwear now as well, because we know so many of our customers are blue collar people and in trades and things like that, and we are, we're looking to expand more in that direction as well into workwear.
Do you see any branching into safety gear, knee braces, elbow pads, those kind of chest protectors, those kind of things?
Yeah, we would really like to go further in that direction as well. Whether it's with some of the very specific ISR approval needed for snowmobile, or just for the weekend warrior and someone that is looking for a little bit more protection than just wearing just their gear and nothing underneath. So
yeah,
that's in the future for us as well.
Sure, it's nice to have an outlook like that where things are positive and you're going in the right direction.
Yeah, what it is. We've all had to take a slowdown a little bit in the last few years because we've had some really poor snow conditions. In North America particularly. We're so happy, especially this year, that Eastern Canada has been getting dumped on with snow. If you look at Quebec and Ontario, the majority of snowmobiles and the industry in the world comes out of Eastern Canada, and of course the big chunk of Wisconsin and Michigan and Minnesota as well. I think if you add up the registered snowmobiles, the number of snowmobile sales in those 3 states and 2 provinces, it outweighs the rest of the snowmobiles in North America, right?
Wow. Yeah.
That's such a huge segment of the market, and so when you have a couple years like the last few
Yeah.
years when there's been poor snow or no snow in those areas, the whole industry, just comes to a halt almost, right?
Right,
And so
right.
we've done the best we can to kind of work through that, with our customers and our dealers that have inventory, and putting ourselves in the best possible place when you get a year like this, when people are riding again, right? And particularly in those key markets, Eastern Canada and some of these areas in the States. So that's been such a good thing for us, and we're kind of excited because the lineup has been a little bit stagnant in the past few years. People know FXR is, cutting edge designs and new releases and that sort of thing. And so going into next year, it's our 30th anniversary, and we've got a lot of new gear and a lot of new stuff to show. And that's something that we're really excited, is just to kind of keep pushing forward again.
Sure.
New designs, but also we're always looking at the technology. How do we make it better? Adding more of our features in to a piece at the same price point that maybe it was last year, just so customers can use it in more conditions, right? What we're seeing, especially this year, is freezing cold and then melting,
right?
And it's kind of doing this, and when the snow hits, you want to be able to go enjoy it, regardless of those temperatures, and your gear needs to be as warm as possible, but be versatile enough to, that you're not sweating when you're out there when it's milder temperatures, right? And so we've tried to look at all of that and really come out next year with an all new line, or mostly new line, that brings a lot of new and exciting stuff out.
It's amazing that you're talking about things that I just take for granted, yet it's in your wheelhouse. Yeah, I mean, I want clothing where I'm not going to get hot and sweaty doing simple things, but I just take it for granted. But something that you're passionate about and you have to work towards. So that's just a great thing. So on behalf of the entire group here at the CPTC, we just want to thank you for your involvement here at the racetrack and helping out this community. I know a number of people, racers, that are here this weekend too, and this is a place they just love to come. So you should be very proud to know that you're really at the top of one of the facilities that they really, really enjoy. So thank you for that.
I appreciate hearing that. Yeah, thank you.
That's great
stuff.
stuff.
So happy to be involved.
Good. We're going to end today with something we call the FXR Fast 10. So we're going to see how you do with these questions. You ready?
All right.
Would you prefer to be indoors or outdoors?
Outdoors.
Burgers or tacos?
Burgers.
Johnny Cash or Elvis?
Cash.
Cash. Would you prefer to stay up late or wake up early?
I've fallen into the stay up late crowd a little too often. Yeah.
Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
I don't. You know what? I'll go with Potter.
It doesn't matter either way.
Sure. Yeah.
Satellite or streaming?
Satellite.
Yeah. Fiction or nonfiction?
Nonfiction.
Okay. Would you rather have free will or know your destiny?
Free will.
Reese's Peanut Butter Cup or Snickers?
Oh, peanut butter cup.
Yeah, good answer. You're a good friend. I can live with that.
All right.
Thanks, Matt.
Hey.
Yeah, appreciate everything you're doing for the sport.
All right, thank you.
That is Matt Ham from FXR here at the 63rd edition of the Canadian Power Toboggan Championships.